Finally, the EU presented their report on the 2023 elections. Unlike other reports that we have seen, it's the same story of irregularity, intimidation, lack of transparency, and so on. Okay, this justifies the reason we have been crying foul. This is the only country we have. Don't begin to support what is not good because of one form of bias or another. We need to stand for the truth. A lot of money was spent during that election, and so making demands for better outcomes is not out of place. And saying elections should be free and fair is also not out of place. Already the election has come and gone. The tribunals are still on. We are hoping that the judges will live up to expectations. Now, just the summary of their report as was presented on Arise TV.
Though it's been more than 3 months after Nigeria's general elections, the challenges faced during the elections are yet to be resolved. The election petition courts are still sitting to address several issues raised by aggrieved parties who are challenging the outcome of the polls, while Nigerians are anxiously waiting at the federal and state levels for the outcome. The European Union says the general election was flawed with so many irregularities recorded, such as voter apathy, lack of punishment for electoral offenders, interferences by outsiders during the counting of votes, and the intimidation of voters.
So while the 25th February elections were held on schedule, a lack of transparency and operational failures reduced trust in the process and challenged the right to vote. Voters assigned to new polling units had difficulties in identifying their correct polling unit, and the conditions in almost half of polling units observed did not ensure the secrecy of the vote. In 16 states, the mission noted incidents of violent attacks on polling units and indeed on INEC staff and harassment of voters. The counting procedures were negatively impacted by overall poor understanding, particularly in completing forms, and chaotic and overcrowded conditions in collation centres observed.
Some of the recommendations by the European Observation Mission includes the protection of voters in future elections, establishing a robust operational framework for elections, and addressing impunity through an electoral offences court. The Independent National Electoral Commission promises to consider all the recommendations as provided by the EU mission.
As far as we are concerned, we are going to present our report. We are going to make our submissions to the court. We are going to present what we know and what we did during the elections to the Presidential Election Petition Tribunal and all the other election petition tribunals, and then they will make a determination on going forward. But as far as the commission is concerned, there were so many positives to this election. There were also significant challenges and problems with the election. We are going to address those challenges and those problems.
The EU delegation also visited the Secretary to the Government of the Federation, George Akume, and submitted a copy of its report to the Nigerian government. The SGF is calling for more support from the EU to promote Nigeria's democracy. Punaraman Benjamin, Arise News.